There are so many compensations that can happen in our shoulders due to being the most mobile joint in the body. Today we're tackling one of the most important areas of our body, our shoulders. Whether you are a seasoned athlete or just starting out on your fitness journey, having strong and healthy shoulders is crucial to overall performance and preventing injuries as well as improving your posture. That's why I want to share with you some simple exercises that can help you build stronger shoulders while keeping safety in mind. One of the most common issues that people face when it comes to shoulder workouts is injury. Whether it's a nagging ache in your shoulder blade or pain going down your arm into your bicep, shoulder injuries can be debilitating and frustrating. Often these injuries are caused by poor form of recruiting your stabilizing muscles incorrectly and technique. Having the stabilizing muscles work correctly will not only help you avoid injury, but also you will see better results and get stronger faster. When people come into our office with shoulder pain, we have to get to the source of where it's coming from. A big source for shoulder pain comes from the neck and the thoracic spine. We're not going to address these areas today, but there are other videos in the description that will go over how to determine if these areas are problems for you. Many people struggle with shoulder imbalances. Maybe you've noticed that one shoulder is weaker than the other, or that you have a harder time doing an exercise on one side of your body. Whatever the case is, it's essential to address these imbalances head on rather than ignoring them and risking further injury. So, what can you do to build stronger shoulders while avoiding these common pitfalls? Let's dive into some simple exercises that are safe for all fitness levels and can be done from the comforts of your home. We will start with some easy ones and progress to more difficult exercises. Once we've ruled out that there's nothing going on with the neck or the thoracic spine and the shoulder's moving fairly well, like we don't have a lot of range of motion issues in the shoulder, then we want to look at the stability of the muscles around the shoulder and how they work together. A common area that we find is a problem in the shoulder is the muscles down in the lower part of the shoulder blade back here. A lot of times they won't come down, that shoulder blade can't come down and in. It wants to kind of pop up like this. And there's two big muscles that address that. That are weak, and it's very common on a lot of people. One is the serratus anterior, which is the muscles that are underneath the shoulder blade. They help that shoulder blade attach into that rib and doesn't allow it to kind of open up in this direction. It actually keeps it up along the rib cage. We need that to happen. So we're going to show you an exercise that will address that, but also that lower trap on the very bottom of the shoulder blade. That also needs to be strong so that the shoulder blade can come down and in. This will help with the mobility of the shoulder, especially with like active range of motion. Now, when you have a lot of weakness, you're going to be using muscles that you shouldn't be using and muscles that you should be using, and it creates a lot of problems in the shoulder, especially when you start adding weight to it or doing something repetition, such as swimming and those kind of things. We find that when we can get the shoulder stabilizing muscles working much better, that actually everything else operates. Their performance on anything they do will improve when we work on the stabilizing muscles. So we're going to go into 5 exercises. We're going to start with some easy ones and we're going to progress to going to a lot harder ones. The first one we're going to do, you can do them without a weight, or you can add a little bit of a weight. But what you're going to do is your arms are going to be by your side. Your palms are going to be facing up. You want your shoulders kind of down. And what we're going to do is you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades back as you open up the arms. Now, you can feel this in the rotator cuff because you do this, but we're really just using this to help us drive that lower trap, to get that lower part of the shoulder blades to be able to kind of squeeze together and then coming back in. So again, you can use weights to go a little bit heavier. You can use a strap to go a little bit heavier. Sometimes with people, we just have to start out this way. You can also bend forward and do the same thing. So now you're having to go up against gravity to really get that lower trap to kind of start firing. The arms being in this position help us make sure that we recruit in the right area. You should be feeling it back in through here and not up in here. If you feel it up in here, it means you're elevating your shoulders, and we don't want that. So sometimes we'll see like this as people will pull it, or there'll be one side will go and the other side is trying to recruit up through here, because there's just so much weakness that's happening within that client. So we really have to work on that form, because if you don't get it and you aren't feeling it in the right area, you're going into those compensation patterns and we have to break it. So that's the first exercise. With these exercises, I would say doing 10 and 20 of them. I would go more on the endurance side of things, because these are really the stabilizing muscles. These are the ones that we want to work as we're doing something that's a bigger muscle, like overhead press or shoulder press. Like, we want these muscles to be firing and helping us support the bigger muscles. And when they aren't, then we'll start having problems and breakdowns of the body when they are weak. So the next one, again, it's going to get down a little bit lower. It also puts us in that position, in a good position to do it. So I just have a little towel roll just so that I can lie on my stomach and not, and be able to breathe and not smush my face into the table. So you'll come down here. Your arms are going to be back here. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring the shoulder blades down. You're going to squeeze back, and then you're going to raise up. And again, you're almost trying to touch the arms, but they don't touch. And that's really just trying to get that lower trap in between the lower part of those shoulder blades. Now, if that's easier, you can do the same thing. Down, squeeze, and bring the arms out a little bit wider. This makes it a little bit harder. And you can keep on doing this if you can feel it down low. You can even go a little bit wider to where you can do this. What we'll find is people will end up compensating, and they'll bring that shoulder up because they can't keep that muscle down and back. And when you notice those things, that's bad. You're recruiting the muscles. You're not strong enough to be able to do that exercise. So you need to back down to make it a little bit easier so you can feel those muscles firing. So again, you want to do these 10, 20 times. If they're getting easier, I would put yourself on a timer and do like a minute of them, because we want these are muscles that we want working for the long haul. They're not like a 1 rep max. They're not a big, like a bicep or a tricep type muscle. These are muscles that should be working all the time. So that's the second exercise. The next one that we're going to do is we're going to be on our hands and knees. And this is the one where I was talking about the muscles in between the shoulder blade and the ribs that help keep that shoulder blade down to the ribs. That's what these muscles are doing. So what you're going to do is, we're not arching the back and rounding the back. We literally keep the back in a neutral position. You're going to bring the shoulder blades together, and then you're going to push through your hands and round them out, just the upper parts. Bring them together and round them out. You're noticing that I'm not like arching my back. As I do this, I keep the back in a very good, stable position, and I'm only working the upper part of the back. So shoulders together, and then round them out and push out. You can do these, you can make it harder. You can go to like single arm, going down, and then pushing to come up. That's just a harder version of what we just did with 2 arms. But again, we want these muscles to be working a lot, so we can do 10, 20 of them, work on more on the endurance side than anything else. You can also add a band, where you put a band around your hands and around the upper part of your back, so you're pushing out against the band and controlling with the band, because the band will be behind your back and underneath your arms. So that's the next exercise that you can do. That will really work on shoulder stabilization. The next one is, you're basically going to be doing same position, hands and knees. And this one just works on endurance. So what you're going to be doing is, you're going to have one, I'll show you on both sides, but you have one hand down and the other hand behind the back. And you're going to bring the shoulder down and kind of squeezing back. And then you're just going to kind of hold this position. When we have people doing this, their arm will start shaking by the end, because we have them hold it for a minute. Now, the more you move forward, the harder it's going to be. The more you move back, the easier it's going to be. I'm going to show you on the other side. So my shoulder's here. You're going to bring the shoulder down and squeeze the shoulder blade in, and you're just going to kind of hold that position. Try not to rotate or anything. You're just going to hold this position. And again, as you hold it and you put yourself on a timer for a minute, again, we see a lot of people's arms, they're going to be shaking because those are the stabilizing muscles that are really working and need to be working, and it's a great exercise to add to. Sometimes we'll add this where people are in this position, they kind of hold this position, and then we can do things with the other side, so they're really having to stabilize that one side while they add movement. Again, just a higher level exercise that you can do, kind of, you know, getting you guys thinking a little bit. But again, this one I'd hold it for like a minute. Try to hold it, really working on that endurance, because these are the stabilizing muscles of the shoulder. So the last one I'm going to show you is, again, you're going to be on your stomach, and we're going to be in a position what I call like the W. So you're going to want the shoulders to go down. When you raise the arms up, it's like you're squeezing the shoulder, like you're trying to touch the elbows behind your back, but you don't. I'm going to show you in this position, and I'll show you down. And so when you do that, we're going to hold that. And then what we're going to do is you hold that position with movement. So you go up trying to hold it, and then you come back down trying to hold it. Now you can do it sitting up like this. It's a little bit easier because you're not going against gravity as far as holding the stability of the shoulder blades. But it's much harder when you go on your stomach and do the same thing. So we'll show you. Again, forehead here, arms a W, shoulders go down. Squeeze the shoulder blades like you're trying to touch your elbows, but they don't. Hold that squeeze as we move the arms up and move it back. And then you can relax. Same thing, shoulders down, squeeze, hold as we move it up and move it down. And then relax. This one is by far the hardest one of all 5 of them, but again, I just did them as a progression from easy to hard, but they're great exercises to do because you're really working on stability, whether it's holding the stability or stability with movement, working on the muscles underneath the shoulder blade that hold the shoulder blade to the ribs, as well as that lower trap to get everything stronger so that when you go and do some of the bigger activities, you will be stronger for those activities. You'll have more endurance for those activities as well. Again, if you have any comments or questions, stick it in the comment section, and we will definitely make sure we get back to you. And if you like what we're doing, share this video, subscribe to our channel. We are here to provide just content to help you understand your body a little bit better, help you avoid those surgeries and feel your best. We'll see you next time.